So somebody recently asked me, why, Mark, does it take so long to change, especially in the areas of confidence? Well, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I'm going to explore that in this video, so stay tuned. Hi, I'm Mark Rhodes and welcome back to Massively Improved, the channel that makes personal development and change easy to do. Change, especially in the area of confidence. Some people change quickly, just like that, overnight almost. Others take a long while. Why is that? Well, there's a number of reasons. Sometimes people change really quickly because maybe, let's say for instance, quite a bit of a lack of confidence, especially in the area of social confidence and things like that are concerned, are linked in with fear of criticism, wondering or worrying what other people might think and things like that. And so some people who change really quickly on that, almost in an instant, may have something dramatic happens in their life. Maybe there's an unfortunate circumstance like a death of a loved one, they have a near-death experience themselves, or something just happens in their life where all of a sudden they think, right, that's it, I'm not going to bother anymore, I'm just going to live my life, do what I want to do. So those people can change really, really quickly in an instant, and I see it time and time again happen. You may well know somebody who's done that as well in their lives. Then you've got people who change quite quickly, and they'll change quite quickly because they maybe go and get some help. Maybe they go and see a coach or a therapist or something like that, and that's all based around the fact of the techniques that we've covered previously on this channel and we'll cover in the future, that how we behave and act, is based on how we think and feel. And how we think and feel is based on our beliefs, what we believe about ourselves, others and the world in general. Because somebody who walks confidently into a room of people they don't know and starts chatting and having conversations with people obviously thinks differently about that situation when they go into it than somebody who is shy, dreads going into a room of people they don't know, and if they have to go into a room of people they don't know, they stand in the corner on their own and rarely, if ever, talk to somebody unless somebody talks to them. So obviously they've got different beliefs about themselves or going into a room of people they don't know to the person that goes in there and engages. So through therapy work or coaching work, you can, or exercises you could do from books or videos, you can look at your beliefs and look to change your beliefs. There's a whole nother group of people that haven't had a life-changing experience to get that rapid switch. They haven't had the coaching therapy type scenario or followed the exercises on belief change and stuff like that to get switch. They just decide that they're going to practice some easy techniques like visualizing things going well beforehand, and they're going to put themselves in the situation and force themselves to start talking to people or force themselves to start doing those things they're not confident at. And this is the way the people say, why does change take so long? All of these ways of change are absolutely valid. You can absolutely force your behaviour change, and if you can keep at that, keep forcing your behaviour change, eventually your beliefs will change because your mind will see that you can do this, you do survive, it is okay, and gradually the fear, the uncomfortable levels will go down and you'll be able to do it, provided you don't give up too soon. So there are a few reasons why you might give up too soon, and the biggest one is that you don't actually notice the progress you're making. So when you do push yourself into situations and you start to make progress, you've got to make a note of it. You know, even something simple like, I said hi to someone this morning on the way to work, or I spoke to somebody briefly about the weather in the coffee shop. Make a list of it. Keep that list. Keep it on your phone or something. And when you have those times of doubt that, oh, I'm never going to improve, it's taking too long, I'm not changing, look back at that list. Remind yourself of the small but important progress steps you've made already. Because if you're not having a dramatic life-changing event, if you're not changing beliefs or working on yourself at that level, and you're just pushing yourself to go and do different things to get confidence, that confidence will grow over time by you continuing to do it. But you've got to spot your progress, you've got to spot the evidence, and you've got to remember it. And the reason is because I think I may have covered this before on the channel, but let's look at it again. There are 4 stages to learning or change. The very first stage, for most things, doesn't apply to people when they're older. It really applies when we're babies, and that's a stage that we call unconscious incompetence. That means we're unconscious or we're not aware of a particular skill. So a 6-month-old baby is not aware of the skill of being socially confident and going into a room of people they don't know. So a 6-month-old baby is unconscious that there is a skill like that. They're not aware of it, in other words, they don't know it, and they're incompetent for want of other words, which mean even if they were aware of it, they couldn't do it. Okay, so that generally happens. When we get a bit older, once we get older, especially once we get into our teens and into adulthood, we're pretty much conscious and aware of different skills and abilities. So like the ability to walk into a room of people we don't know and get talking to them, we have conscious awareness of that. We know that that exists. We see other people doing it. So that's the second stage of learning, which is conscious incompetence. This is where we are consciously aware that a skill exists, but we can't do it. We then decide that we want to change. And when we decide we want to change, we start to move from that second stage of learning, conscious incompetence, aware of the skill, but not able to do it, into what we call conscious competence. A lot of terminology, I know, but conscious competence is where you're aware of the skill, you're starting to do it, but you've got to think about it all the time. It's uncomfortable. Best analogy I can use for this is learning to drive a car. If you've learned to drive a car, those first 3, 4, 5, 6 driving lessons, you've got conscious competence. You can start to get the car to go along the road. It may be jerking, it may be stalling, you may be making lots of mistakes, you may be hot, you may be sweating, you may be panicking. You've got to think about a lot of things all at once. But you can do it to a degree, but it is tough. That's conscious competence. You're consciously aware of the skill and you've got some competence that you can do it, but it's hard work. You've got to keep at it. Then what happens with the driving, for instance, is eventually you get the hang of it. The mind sees you doing these processes over and over again, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, and it formulates a method of you doing that driving so that you then start to do it on autopilot. This is when you're driving along, you're changing gear, you're signalling, using the mirrors, turning corners, going around bends, doing manoeuvres without consciously thinking about it. You're doing it on autopilot. That is the fourth stage of learning, unconscious competence. This would be when you are no longer even thinking about the skill, you are just doing it naturally. So as far as social confidence is concerned, you just be going out, going to events, going out in public, talking to people whenever you want, never hesitating, just doing it. And you get to that stage, as I say, either by a massive life-changing event or doing some belief change work, or if you're just going to commit to it, force yourself, push yourself into situations to go and do them, perhaps learn some skill set online or in some books, some conversational ideas. A bit funny that I stuttered, and funny that I stuttered on the word stuttered, and funny that I stuttered on the word conversational. But anyway, you're going to get some conversational ideas of what to say and do in different situations, and you're just going to push yourself and go into those situations and do it. You can change like that, but it will usually take some time, which is why you've got to notice the progress you're making, keep a note of it, and don't deny the evidence of the progress. Keep at it, keep going, and then eventually what will happen, as I said earlier, the mind will say, hey, this is possible. So I'll make a note of what those 4 stages are in the description of the video below, of course, for you as well. And so that's it. So that's why it can take so long, and you have to keep at it, and you mustn't deny the evidence. You've got to record every small win, even if you just said hi to somebody that you wouldn't normally have done. So you can look back and see that list grow over time of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 50 things that you're now doing or have done that you wouldn't have previously done. This is exactly what I did to improve my own social confidence. I kept at it, kept doing it, kept improving, kept measuring my progress, kept recording my results, and that was the secret to getting there, as well as some other sort of belief work that I'll cover on this channel as well. But most of it was just getting out there, doing it, noticing the change, noticing the evidence. Hope you found this useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, like on the video. If you're not currently subscribed, please subscribe so that you'll get notified when I release a new video. If there's a bell notification on your device, click that too, and then YouTube will let you know about every video that I release. I release a new video every Sunday to help you to massively improve. So have a great week.